The man raises his hand. Exposed her. The superpower that all men dream of, with any changes in his body. It was easy to open the locked door. The retracted hand miraculously recovers. Then he thought of his ex-girlfriend Jessica Alba. And Jessica Alba didn't believe him. Think he's just trying to get him back and create a conversation. However, in the next second, his body also began to become transparent. It scared her to pee. She knocked over the bottle in a panic. Ioan Gruffudd caught it easily with a long hand. Just when the two looked confused, Chris Evans lights up. 8-pack ABS make their debut. It was just now. Skiing with beautiful women. Chris Evans, so excited that the whole body burst into flames. It scared the crap out of him. As the fire gets stronger, panicked, he plunged into the snow. A big crater was knocked out of the snow, and he was unscathed. At this moment, the three of them thought of another companion, and Michael Chiklis was shaking. The weight skyrocketed. It actually collapsed the bed, just as the three of them arrived at the scene. He's gone missing. When he reappeared in this terrifying appearance, scared his wife away on the spot. Where did these four people's superpowers come from? It all starts with a space mission. For people together with project sponsor, Julian McMahon, together on a mission to the space station. Unexpectedly, it encountered a solar storm. Julian McMahon immediately decided to use the shield to block it. At this time, my partner is still out of app maintenance. In a crisis, he can only escape by jumping to the distant hatch. Just as he was about to enter, a solar storm hits the entire ship in an instant. When they return to Earth, the gene has mutated. Michael Chiklis, who can't accept his appearance. At this time, he was sitting alone on the bridge in a daze. This is when a man jumps off a bridge and kills himself. Michael Chiklis steps forward to comfort. Unexpectedly, the man was scared to pee on the spot by his appearance. One accidentally fell on the road. A truck is speeding in. Michael Chiklis leaps off. Although men are saved, but it also caused a 100-car rear-end collision. The police at the scene thought they had encountered a monster. They pointed their guns at him. And that's when Ioan Gruffudd and everyone else arrived. This woman was seen in public. He actually took off his clothes on the spot. However, the next second, waits until she activates her superpowers again. Pieces of clothing fall on the body. Then he made his way through the crowd and climbed into a taxi. Just after finding the trapped little girl, there was an explosion. Chris Evans takes the leap, standing in front of the little girl. Jessica Alba also launched a defensive barrier, stopped the spread of the fire. The other side, the fire truck, too late to brake, rushed straight off the bridge. Hanging on the edge of the bridge, firefighters are on the line, just as the body falls, caught by Michael Chiklis. However, he used his great power. The body still slides towards the water. The moment the firefighter fell, luckily saved by Ioan Gruffudd, Michael Chiklis builds up again, finally pulled the fire truck back. Applause broke out. The people cheered for their chanting. They have thus become the most powerful combination of Marvel. Fantastic Four. And then Michael Chiklis' wife showed up. She still can't accept her husband as he is. Just throw away the engagement ring and walk away. And the heroic rescue Michael Chiklis can't afford a diamond ring at this time. Ioan Gruffudd, who saw this scene, decided to restore the original for everyone. To understand this sudden superpower, 4 of them went back to the lab and were tested. Chris Evans is locked in a container. I saw him wave his hand. The flames instantly covered the whole body. As the temperature continues to rise, the body is approaching the temperature of the sun. This is leaving the lab burning. Fortunately, Ioan Gruffudd decisively stopped him, and Michael Chiklis not only covers his entire body with skin, even internal organs are made of stone. This makes him a true man of steel. Jessica Alba uses her emotions to control her invisibility. Not only can you create defensive barriers out of thin air, more able to launch shockwaves to attack. Ioan Gruffudd also discovered uniforms worn by 4 people in space, also affected. He can adapt to the abilities of 4 people, and that leads to coordination. This makes Chris Evans. You don't have to burn your clothes anymore. He wanted to be an influencer promotion. He was interviewed by the media. This made the other 3 very upset. Michael Chiklis even took Chris Evans' sports car directly, kneaded into an iron ball. The 4 of them broke up unhappily. Seeing brothers turn against each other, Ioan Gruffudd increasingly feels that restoration is imminent. On the other side, with the exposure of the Fantastic Four, make them famous. However, all this aroused the jealousy of the boss Julian McMahon. His body also changed at this time. This man has superpowers comparable to Wolverine. The whole body is as hard as Edmund Alloy. The doctor wants to call the police. He was killed in the next second. It turned out that during a space mission, the solar storm mutated his genes. And it's not just that. A bolt of lightning directly pierced the enemy's chest. Man's name is Julian McMahon, because that mission in space completely bankrupted him. And the Fantastic Four, who went together, became heroes. The object of one's admiration. Jessica Alba even threw herself at Jorn Griffith. It made him feel very angry, so he first found Michael Chiklis to sow discord. Tell him that Jorn Griffith has no intention of restoring everyone to their original state. This sent Michael Chiklis straight to the lab. He happened to meet two people who were in love. Michael Chiklis says no. Say fight directly. Jorn Griffith's ability to overcome rigidity with softness soon tied up Michael Chiklis tightly. Ultimately, under the mediation of Jessica Alba, the two broke up unhappily. And it was at this point that Jorn Griffith realized the urgency of restoration. In desperation, he had to take the risk himself, locked himself in the experiment cabin. However, he did not succeed, and Julian McMahon also learned it through surveillance, and the reason it failed was because there wasn't enough electricity. He then called in Michael Chiklis, who was desperate to recover, tricked it into the lab again. Julian McMahon uses his own electricity, directly fill the energy value. As the hatch opens, Michael Chiklis has finally regained his original appearance, and what awaited him was a heavy punch from Julian McMahon. Jorn Griffith came over when he heard the noise. Julian McMahon strikes a lightning bolt. It turned him into a puddle of mud. Then he was captured, using nitrogen to give him a double heaven of ice and fire. Then pick up the bazooka. One went straight to Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. At this critical juncture, Chris Evans just jumped in order to prevent missiles from harming innocent people. After a few maneuvers, finally, using the desert island on the sea surface to successfully detonate the missile. On the other hand, Jessica Alba also came to the rescue of Jorn Griffith. Julian McMahon found out the next second. A shockwave hits Julian McMahon. Unfortunately, no harm was done. The backhand was hit 108,000 miles by one strike of lightning. Critical juncture. The reincarnated Michael Chiklis comes to the rescue. During the fight, the two fell downstairs. However, Michael Chiklis is no match for Julian McMahon at all. After a few rounds, he was knocked to the ground, just as he was about to die. But it was blocked by a barrier, but with a burst of fire. The Fantastic Four are all here. The war is imminent. Julian McMahon has a big move. The whole body emits high voltage current. Easily repelled the team duo. Just Jessica Alba, barely blocked. Jorn Griffith saw this and turned into a cape to lock Julian McMahon tightly. In the next second, Chris Evans resorted to the stunt of Samadhi. Just as the raging fire surrounded Julian McMahon, Jessica Alba used a barrier to trap her. After some operation, it doesn't work, and the next second, Julian McMahon knew the importance of learning physicalization. Well, Michael Chiklis kicks a hydrant. Julian McMahon became a metal statue. In bursts of cheers, they finally became the true Fantastic Four. However, the crisis was not lifted. Julian McMahon locked in 8 steel gates. Powerful magnetic fields can still disable the instrument. How will he get revenge later? We can only look forward to the next installment.